All that's said is done, all that's done, gone under the sun. Won't you come with me, fall in?
Whoa, that looks hella bright. Oh my god, guys, welcome back to my channel. I have back. I'm filming again. I feel quite proud. Literally, I feel quite proud. So today, as the title suggests, I am doing a pregnancy journey, but it's not really pregnancy because I'm not pregnant anymore, but how I felt during my pregnancy. I've got my little list here with my notes, and I'm just going to literally speak about how I felt during my pregnancy, from finding out sickness, the emotions, yada yada yada. So I don't know if it'll be long, so I don't know if you need to get a cup of tea. You can probably get a cold drink, to be fair. And let's begin. The first point on here I've got is wanting a baby. So we thought last year, probably around this time, so about February 2021, yeah, we thought, do we want another baby? Obviously, Hayden at the time was 4 and I knew he'd be going to full-time school in September. So I was like, we'll have the time to bond with the baby, or I will, so it was majority of the time it would be me at home, and I wouldn't have to entertain Hayden throughout the day, if that makes sense. It was just going to be me and the baby, and I could like build a routine. So yeah, we thought about it. So I was thinking, do we, don't we? You think financially, and then in the end I was just like, let's just do it. So I did have the coiling for about 4 years, and I decided, I thought I'll take it out. And I remember phoning the doctors, and the only appointment time that they had was, I think it was 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Hayden was at nursery, but I'd finished a night shift that morning, so I thought, right, I'm gonna go home, have a little sleep, and then get up and go. And then I think I got up probably 30 minutes before the appointment. So I was like, oh, so I ran in the shower, had a shower and got to the doctor's, and then it took 5 minutes to take it out. And then she says, like, you have to wait for your periods to come back, blah 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 blah. And I was like, yeah, fine. That was the end of January. And then February, so it wasn't February we decided, it was like January, December. So February, nothing happened. Very impatient person, I think that's what it was, and it wasn't happening like that. So in March I thought, oh, it's okay. March, I think nothing had happened, so I was just like, oh, to Dan, I said, if it happens, it happens. In April, I remember feeling a bit meh and a bit sicky, and my periods are like clockwork, so I felt a bit sicky, and I thought, oh, it's just symptoms of coming on my period, so I didn't think nothing of it. And I was due to come on, I remember, on the Friday, and my periods had always been shitty anyway, so I remember going to the doctors and asking if I can have the pill just to regulate my periods, because I thought, I'm not pregnant. It hasn't happened. Like I said, I'm impatient, so I remember going to get the mini pill. So my period was due to start on the Friday, and I got the pill, I think, on the Tuesday, and she's like, wait till your period starts. My period was due, whatever date it was due, on the Friday, and I was sitting on the toilet, and I thought, oh, I've got some cheap pregnancy tests, the pound ones, so I thought, I'll have a look. I don't know if you're going to be able to see, I've got a picture here. Yeah, it's not going to show, it's just literally going to show because it's too bright. But I will put these on. And I saw a faint line, and I remember sending the picture to my friend. I was like, is that a line or is it not? And this was 2 days before my period was meant to be starting. She's like, there's a line there. And looking now, I still don't even feel like I can see the line, but yeah. And she's like, it is. And then I remember I had a clear blue one, the ones that say pregnant or not pregnant. I thought, well, let me do that, and then obviously it will say not pregnant or pregnant. And I remember sitting on the toilet doing it, and the timer just spinning. It was spinning for a good 3 minutes. And I was texting my friend at the same time, like, oh, I'm still waiting for the timer, still waiting for the timer. And then it come up, and it come up with, obviously, pregnant. So I'm trying to find that picture. So it's, I don't know if you, I'm gonna have to put these on. Yeah, I think you can just about see that. And that says 1 to 2 weeks. I remember I just burst into tears. And I don't know if it was relief the fact we've been trying, or then I didn't want to try, or it was a whole load of emotions. I can remember it like it was yesterday, sitting on my toilet, the bathroom toilet next door, and I was just literally bursting into tears. And then I remember phoning my sister and saying I'm pregnant, and me and my sister had an argument, so I wasn't really speaking, and so I phoned, she's like, yeah, like with attitude. I was like, I'm pregnant. She went, oh yeah. And then I burst into tears. She's like, why are you crying? I'm like, I don't know. She's like, you're 32, you're married, you've got a house, you've got your career. She says, why are you crying? And I remember feeling like, I don't know, like a teenager, like I was going to get into trouble. Oh, it's madness, like I was going to get into trouble. So that was that. Yeah, I found out, I think, on the, what day, so the pictures say the dates now, the 12th of April at 10:59 exactly. But I had like an inkling, and then I remember looking my friend on the app, and then it's like, you're 3 weeks pregnant. So I thought, oh my god, Christmas baby, couldn't have planned it at a better time, could I really? So that was that. And then I have a picture of me. I look hella wild. That's the picture I sent to Daniel after I sent him a picture of the pregnancy test, and he's like, are you being serious? I'm like, yeah. So yeah, that was that. So the next thing I want to talk about is all the symptoms that I got with this pregnancy. So my first pregnancy, oh my god, it was a breeze. But I think with your first pregnancy, you feel like everything's wrong, but it was a breeze. Probably sick 5 times throughout the whole pregnancy. I could eat. I was living my best life. The only reason you knew I was pregnant was because I had the bump. But I was living my best life, guys. I could eat. I was drinking like squash and stuff and pop. I had no, like, when like you smell anything, I had none of that. It was great. This pregnancy, I want to say at 5 weeks, 5/6 weeks, I started having cramping. And then obviously I was just thinking the worst. I was cramping, like period pain. So I had to go to the hospital, and they tried to do a scan, but obviously it was way too early. There's nothing you're going to see on the scan really. So they had to do an internal scan, and I remember doing that on the Sunday. So I went to hospital on the Saturday, and they said, go to SAU, which is a surgical assessment unit, tomorrow. They're expecting you, and they will do a scan. So that's fine. So I went to hospital on the Sunday. They put a needle in my arm, cannula, to check bloods and stuff, and said, go and have a scan. So he tried to do the scan of my stomach. Obviously it was too early, so he did an internal scan, and you could just see like a little, well, it's tiny. So he didn't say nothing, and then he wrote in my notes, and then he's like, you need to come back next week when you are 6 to 7 weeks, whichever one it was. Come back and then we'll check again. So when I went back to the ward, it was like, come in on the Monday and we'll check you. So I got back to the ward on the Monday, and I think it's worse because it's the fear of the unknown. So it's a week of unknowing really. And so I was sitting, she's checking my details and everything. She went, so last week we couldn't find a heartbeat. I was like, what? And she's like, did they not tell you? I was like, well, no, they didn't. So they couldn't find a heartbeat. And then that's when I was just like, Jesus, if they'd told me that last week, I think the stress of waiting a week, if that makes sense, it would have just been, I don't know, not harder. Actually, I was still worrying, but the fact that she was like, oh, there's no heartbeat. So I walked down to, he's like, oh, it's horrible. So I got there, and it's the same man. He's like, you're right. So I was like, yeah, there's no heartbeat. And he was like, no, but we're going to check you again now. We're going to have to do the internal. We'll try the one on your stomach first, but if that doesn't work, then we'll do the one internal. So they've done the one on the stomach, and it didn't work. The baby was too small. So they've done the internal. I remember lying there, my eyes closed like that. And he's like, oh, there's a heartbeat, there's a little flicker. I was like, thank the Lord. But then you still have to wait till week 12 before you're out of the danger zone. So I think he said I was 6 weeks at the time, and I was due the 26th of December, Boxing Day. So I went home, that was fine. The week after, back in hospital again, I had one swollen breast. I think it was the I want to say the right one, doesn't matter, one of them was swollen anyway. And I had mastitis. I've had mastitis before, not with after, when I was breastfeeding, never before. They said it's quite uncommon to have it before. I've never felt pain like it, guys. I couldn't wear a bra, going in the hospital, and they had to examine me. I literally cried tears. I was in agony. So they said it was really red, painful, swollen. So I had the mastitis and it was painful. They gave me IV antibiotics while I was in hospital, and they gave me a course of antibiotics for when I came out of hospital. And I remember I was just worried about having antibiotics, the baby being so small, everything goes for your head. So that was that. I came home, and with Hayden, when I was pregnant, I felt low. I don't enjoy pregnancy, shock horror, and I don't think anyone ever speaks about not enjoying pregnancy. I'm grateful that I'm pregnant, I'm grateful I'm able to do it, I'm grateful that I'm growing in life, but I don't enjoy the 9 months of worry, like if they don't kick enough, they stop moving, or the movements aren't as regular. I don't enjoy it. It's just a worry, and I feel like I'm a host, really, holding this baby. I am this baby's life. I am, and the tiredness, So I remember from 7 weeks with Marnie, I just felt shit. I felt rubbish. I felt low. I felt sad. And then the sickness started. I wasn't sick for the first 7 weeks, and I wasn't, like I said with Hayden, I wasn't sick. I remember I just used to feel sick from morning till night, and if I wasn't being sick, certain smells. So obviously I work at a hospital, and when they used to do breakfast on the ward, the smell of the toast would make me heave. I'd literally have to do the drugs in the morning and then hide in one of the rooms, or wait till the breakfast had gone. I could smell the trolley before it even gone past, and I was just like, yeah, I can't. The only thing I could stomach was filet fish with ketchup, and that's what I ate for days and days and days. And then I got to probably about 9 or 10 weeks, and then I couldn't stomach fish, I couldn't stomach meat, and the doctor was like, you need to try and eat little and often. And I was vomiting that much. I was thinking, there's nothing in me. I physically cannot vomit anymore. I had no strength. And the doctor said, eat little and often, try eat like yogurt, and then try and build your strength up that way, but try not to eat a big meal because it puts you off. So I ate yogurt straight up, and I just thought, I cannot do this for another 30 weeks, 33 weeks, however long it was. And I was just like, I can't do it. And I was trying to make sure I was drinking like fluids, but that would come up. So they said, try Lucozade because you need some sort of energy. I remember just lying on the bed, just like, if I've got pictures I will insert them. I was just literally like this. So so the sickness, the emotional roller coaster of being pregnant, that's the next thing. I can't describe it. Some people love it, not me. The emotional journey, it was horrific, guys. It was horrific. I don't work in an area that's people are acutely unwell, if that makes sense. So I don't work in A&E, I don't work on ITU, I don't work with people that are acutely unwell. I work in private sector, elective surgery. So people are well when they come in, they've chosen to come and have their elective surgery. So that's hips, knees, cosmetic, breasts, nose. They're well, they have to be well to have the surgery. So it wasn't like people were, I don't want to say dying, people weren't being nursed back to health, so to speak. They were having that operation. We were nursing them back to health, but they've had life-changing surgery that they've chose to have. And I remember this lady, she went to have a wash in the bathroom, and she had a vasovagal, so she passed out, and I'm having to pull the emergency buzzer because I couldn't move her. And the doctor came in, and I just burst into tears, literally just crying. She's like, just go and sit down. So I went and sat in the office, and the anaesthetist come in, he's like, are you alright? And I think when people say you alright, that's it. And I was just crying. He's like, what's wrong with you? I don't know. And I literally couldn't stop crying. So I think the emotional side of it as well, like looking back, people must have thought, what is up with this, what's up with this nurse? And the patients must have thought, please don't come into my room. So it's like, yeah, my back. I remember my back, like literally I'm closing my eyes now, I'd stand and it's like my sciatic nerve and it'd be like, excuse me, bam, right down my right leg. I remember sitting on my night shift and I was like, I cannot move. I cannot move. Thank God we had a healthcare with us and she was absolutely brilliant. And she would do my observations and tell me what they were, and the only thing I would have to do was the drugs. But my God, my back. And I remember having to be referred to occupational health and they thought, was it just the night shift? Now my back had just gone. And I always had backache prior to being pregnancy as well, but prior to being pregnant. But obviously when you're pregnant, you can't do a lot anyway. So yeah, the backache, and I think that would stop me ever having another child again. If I was to rule it out, would be the backache, because I just felt debilitated. I felt like I couldn't do anything. I'd be walking and it'd be like shooting pains, and that wasn't even just at work, it was at home as well. And obviously I've got another child. It was debilitating, awful, awful, awful. So I had my 12-week scan, everything was fine. Obviously you don't find out the sex. There was like, yeah, the baby's healthy, you're doing well, so it's fine. And then I think I got to 16 weeks and it was great. It was great. And from the get-go I was consultant led during my pregnancy, because with Hayden I lost 3 pints of blood and I had a tear. Is that the reasons? Yeah, I had a tear and I lost 3 pints of blood, so automatically you are then consultant led, and I had to have a blood transfusion, that's it, so you are consultant led. So I was like, okay. And then I remember saying to the consultant, it took me this long to have another baby. I think I was traumatised from Hayden's birth. What's the chances of having a C-section? And I'm speaking to my midwife, the consultant. So the midwife says, when you see your consultant, let them know what you think, but there is no clinical reason. Just because one birth's been bad, it doesn't mean the second one's going to be bad. But when you've had a bad birth, that's all I was thinking about. So I was like, okay. So at right, let me go back. So my 12th week was fine, and then I was seeing the midwife in the community. And she said, oh, you've been referred to the consultant, and they'll do your appointments. So I had to wait ages. I think I was about 6 or 7 months before I saw the consultant. So everything was ticking along fine. 16 weeks I went and had a private scan, and I was confident that it was a boy. Everyone else was like, no, it's a girl. I was like, confident it's a boy. And I remember the sonographer saying, close your eyes. So I was like, me and my husband closed our eyes, and we took Hayden as well. So I was like, and then I couldn't not look, and then she put on it, it's a girl. I was like, my husband wasn't looking at this time, so I was like, oh my god. And we meant to do a popper, the cannon, but I couldn't wait. So I was like, Dan, you need to pop it now. And in true Bowen fashion, the confetti blew away, but then we found out I was having a girl. Then we had the 20-week scan for the NHS. And the sonographer was doing her job, and then she kept going back over the same spot. And then she says, oh, you can't have a wait, I just need to check something else. I was like, something's wrong. So I was lying on the bed, and she was scanning. She's like, okay, everything seems fine, but the baby's got 1 kidney. And you will be referred to the consultant. And I was like, I've already been referred to the consultant. She's like, no, it'll be a consultant for renal that specialises with this. I was like, fine. I said, about will it be too much? She's like, no, it's urgent, so it'll be 2 weeks. So I remember for the next 2 weeks, I was just like, what's the consultant going to say? Will they find one? She says, I might not have been able to find it today. I was like, it's highly unlikely they're going to find it. If you can't find it, you do this job day in, day out. So the 2 weeks came, and I went and had the scan. I remember taking my friend, and just like, yeah, the baby has got 1 kidney, but we need you to come back at 30 weeks, I think it was, to check again whether it's there or anything like that. So I remember I'm going home, straight on my phone, right, Google, what does it mean? And then I remember going to the other appointments, and there's like, yeah, she's got 1 kidney. The kidney, I think it's the left kidney that she hasn't got, but the right kidney is slightly larger, but I think it's compensating for the fact that she hasn't got a left one. So they said, we'll just monitor her when she's born, and if there's anything that needs to be done, they'll do it then. They said they can't keep scanning me because it's not there, so they have to scan her. So yeah, and I think for the rest of the pregnancy, that's how I was just like, just hoping that she was fine when she came out, and obviously she's here. Marnie's living her best life. Last two things. So the last two things are mental health, and which I've touched on, in the third trimester. So mental health, I want to say, guys, it's okay not to be okay during pregnancy. I know social media make it seem like you should be this, you should be, I don't know, not happy. I was happy, like I said, that I can carry a baby. Many people don't get to have the opportunity that I have, or they don't make it to how far I made it and give birth. But mentally, I was drained. I was sad. I was depressed. And I remember speaking to the doctors. Obviously, they know about my mental health. And I was just like, I can't do it. I cannot do it. And they says the safest option for you during pregnancy is sertraline. It helps with anxiety and it helps with the low moods. So I was like, I'll try anything. That's just, does it affect the baby? I think this was at, I passed the 12-week stage, past the 16-week stage. And it says no, it's just more growing now. Vital organs are in place. It's just the growing, and as it says, but we have to outweigh the risk. If you're feeling that low, you are not going to want to continue. So we need to weigh the risk, and it is safe during pregnancy. So I was like, fine. Then I remember having that sick feeling. I don't know if anyone's ever taken antidepressants where you're sick for like 3 days. It's just like that horrible, nauseated feeling. I felt sick anyway, but it's just like nausea, and you just sit and you zoned out, and you're just like. So I had that, and it says you will feel worse for 4 to 6 weeks before you get better. And I was just like, I can't feel any worse, but I did. I felt suicidal. Like, I've never spoke about it or put it out there that that's how low it made me feel, and that's how I felt during the beginning of my pregnancy as well. Suicidal. That was even before I found out I was pregnant. I was low. But yeah, starting to take the sertraline, I thought, oh my God, what have I done? What have I done? I think I was so worried about having postnatal depression, and once she was here, I think the anxiety, that's what scared me the most, was having the postnatal depression. But the mental health side of it, and if it can help one person, someone will say to me, do you know what, I had it and I'm glad you spoke, then I feel like I've done what I need to do, really. Because mentally, yeah, like I feel like I'm reliving it now, but I'm not going to keep going on because I feel a completely different person now. I did see a mental health nurse. I was under mental health team, and it's a lot quicker when you're pregnant. Obviously, it's an emotion. The emotional side of it's more because your body's not your body per se, and it's all the hormones. So yeah, and they were very good. With Hayden, I didn't really say because I didn't know I was allowed to say. I always think when you say that you're suffering or you're feeling depressed, I always think of social services, are they going to come and take my baby away? And then you hear of, what's the thing that you have when you when you give birth and you start to like hallucinate and you have psychotic episodes. And I thought, well, what if that's me? So I felt like I had to hide it, and in some ways I feel like I was robbed a bit with Hayden because I didn't enjoy the pregnancy like I didn't with Marnie, but because I didn't speak about the prenatal and postnatal, I feel like I suffered a lot more because I was so ashamed of it. And for the first, I want to say 2 years, it was hard, and I loved him. I love him with all my heart. I loved him, but I don't know how to, I felt, not resentment, I just felt like, is it, not even the facts, I just like, oh, and I felt I would do what I had to do. So it was, I would look after him, I would change him, I would feed him. But yeah, there was no initial bond. And then at 2 years, it must have been like something clicked. But then I thought, I've wasted 24 months. And that was really sad for me. So I thought with Marnie, I didn't want the same thing. If it happened, but it happened, but I felt like there was help on board. And I think when I was 36 weeks pregnant, if not a little bit before, I started seeing a counsellor. So before this, I saw the consultant at 36 weeks and 37 weeks and so forth, and I asked for a C-section, and because of the bleeding last time, she says you will bleed with a C-section, more chance of infection, you're more debilitated. And excuse me, I don't go out very often, but I wouldn't like the thought of it being taken away from me. And I think what it is with anxiety and asking for a C-section, I know a date, so I've got something to work towards. When I don't know the baby's coming, it plays havoc with my mind. So I says, the consultant says we can induce you at 39 weeks, and then you've got a date. So I was booked in to be induced on the 17th of December. I was like, right, I can do this. And I remember having the COVID test on the Wednesday, and obviously I couldn't go out after that. So the Friday came, and I phoned on the Wednesday, and I says, so what happens? She's like, oh, we'll call you between 7 and 3 if there's a bed, and then you come in. So 3 o'clock come and went, and I now call on the phone and says, oh, we're really busy. And obviously emergencies crop up, people go into spontaneous labour, so I was put to the bottom of the list. And then she stopped moving as much. I don't know if that was me being anxious, so I had to go into hospital anyway. And then they monitored that, and then lo and behold, she was flying around my stomach, and they says, you can go. They said, oh no, you're due to be induced, let me just see if there's any beds. There's no beds. So I went home, and then Saturday came, and they called me at 9:30. I was like, right, ready to be induced now. Hello, is that Mrs. Bowen? Yeah. Was you on the, what was it, MAU, maternity test? Yeah. Someone that was on the ward had COVID, tested positive. Are you vaccinated? I've had my one vaccine. Yeah, so you'll have to isolate for 10 days. And I was like, no. And I says, well, I'm due to be induced. And she said, well, if you're due to be induced, you'll still be induced, you just can't go out. So I was like, great. So Saturday I phoned, and I remember phoning who did I phone? The ward again at 6. So like, any updates, any changes, can I come in? No, we're still really busy. So yeah, nothing. And then it was Sunday, and it was morning, and I phoned, and it's like, no, we've got no beds. And at this point, my anxiety, I was wreaking havoc. And then they called me at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, and says, we have a bed. So I was like, yes. So I went in, they strapped me up, they done a check, and I think I was 1 centimetre dilated. So I was like, okay. And then the baby's heart rate dipped to 75. If you know that it decelerated really bad, they had to call the consultant. I'm just lying in the bed thinking, oh Jesus. And then they sent me up to the ward at 6 a.m. because they said you need to get up onto the ward a lot quicker, and at this point it was like 2 a.m. So they sent me up onto the ward, they broke my waters, and then that for 4 hours I think I only got to 2 to 3 centimetres, and yeah, there was like nothing happening really. And then they gave me the hormone drip, which is what I had with Hayden, that hormone drip, guys. So that went up at 10:30, and they was putting it up every half an hour, and I think by 12 I was probably about 4 or 5 centimetres, and then at 1 o'clock I was 7 centimetres dilated, and I was screaming the place down. I was screaming, I was like, can I have an epidural? I was like, no, it's too late. I was like, please just give me anything. The only thing I had was gas and air, and with Hayden I had epidural, I had pethidine. I didn't feel a thing. I'd never felt pain like it, and I was screaming, I was screaming, I was mooing, and I was like, please just get this child out, please just get this child out. And they're like, your body knows what to do, but stop screaming because you're wasting your energy, stop. But I'd never felt, I was biting down on the gas and air, and it's like, if you feel like you need to push, just push. So I pushed. Baby Marnie flew out at 1:30 the afternoon, weighing 6 pound 8, and I never felt relief like it. And then coming home, so it's called the 4th trimester really, isn't it? Came home the day after, the checks were over, checked for kidneys, but they didn't, checks her back and everything, she was fine, and they said you can have your kidney appointment as an outpatient. I said okay. Came home, and I think like day 2, 3, I thought, like I was feeling normal, waiting for this postnatal. Didn't come, and I think it's day 3, you have baby blues. It didn't come. It's like, okay. And it's Christmas around this time. I thought maybe I'm hyped up because it's Christmas. Didn't come. And then Marnie would be screaming day and night. She had the green poos, but then they never changed. It's like, what's going on? Screaming, screaming. She'd have colic. She'd be arching her back, but she didn't have colic. She was allergic to the products of the cow's milk, and her stools were foul smelling. I know poo smells anyway, but oh my god, they were foul. I was thinking she's only drinking milk. It cannot. So yeah, she was screaming, and even her screaming through the night, and having an hour's sleep. I felt amazing still, just like there's no postnatal depression. And that is my pregnancy journey. I'm sorry, it was so higgledy-piggledy, and I will try and edit, cut, put bits in that are relevant. But yeah, that was my pregnancy journey. I'm going to try and find some pictures of Marnie when she was first born, of her at home. She looks like a diva. I will catch you all in my next video. Bye.
All that's said is done, all that's done, gone under the sun. Won't you come with me, fall in love like nothing matters except for us.
Yeah, everybody fall down once. Yeah, every love go fall down once. Yeah, everybody fall down once. Yeah, every love go fall down once. Hold it when it come. It ain't gonna stay when it drop it. When it fall down, pick that up. Hold it when it come. It ain't gonna stay when it drop it. When it fall down, pick that up. Sick of love slipping through fingertips. Watch that flame, keep it flickering. All that bickering, enveloped in bitterness. I think we bigger than all of them little things. Love unconditional.